Hey, welcome to another video. Sockap here. If you're new to the channel, we do meme videos here. We do guides from time to time. We do compilation videos of good players in the community. And we do apparently music videos now. And recently we were on desk analysis for PCC7 with Joey yours truly, or JT as I call him, because we're good friends. So I know you like Joey. Okay, I know you guys like Joey, so that's why I'm stressing that we're friends. Me and Joey are friends. Okay, so you should like me too. All right. There's a few people that are doing guides right now that are pretty decent, and I would suggest them. Mugiwawa, Obey the Papaya, Empty. These guys are doing guides. I think they're worth watching, so I would check them out. But I still haven't seen anybody do a comprehensive guide about gold and how much everything is worth relative to one another. So that's the goal of this video. We're going to lay everything out on a graph so you guys can basically get the good feeling of how much everything is worth, and it can kind of put it into perspective. It's no secret that the predecessor community is one of the best, most highly skilled MOBA communities out there. Okay? But even despite this factual true thing that I just stated, I think you should stick around, watch the video, because chances are you're going to pick up something that you didn't know. So let's talk about bounties first off, because this is the most important thing, and still a lot of people don't even realize that it's in the game. There are bounties in the game, just like other MOBAs. You wouldn't know it because this tea drinking monarch has yet to put any sort of fucking visual indicator in the game for bounties. But they do exist in the game. Now, Sockcap, what is a bounty? Okay, well, what a bounty is, and we're going to put this graph right down here so you guys can look at it. As somebody gets more and more kills without dying, they become worth more gold. So if you kill them, you get more gold. And if somebody dies a lot without getting a kill, then they become worth less gold. And it varies drastically. You have to put this into perspective. There's also CS bounties too, and I don't know how those work. Unfortunately, that information's not really readily available. Um, so we'll focus on kill bounties, but just know there are CS bounties as well. Okay, so if somebody goes 8-0, that caps the kill bounties. That's the highest you can get on a kill bounty, and that person is worth 1,000 gold. If you kill that person, once again, they're worth 1,000 gold. That is over 3 kills worth of gold. That's important. A standard kill is worth 270 gold, so that's quite a lot. Now, vice versa, if somebody is 0 and 6, they've died 6 times, that caps out the death streak, and they are worth 100 gold. So why are bounties important? Well, here is a big reason bounties exist in the game, and most of you will agree with me that this is a big problem in the community just in general. Bounties are in the game as a comeback mechanic, right? If you are getting a bounty, if somebody's 8-0 and you kill them and you're an ADC or a mid laner or an assassin, that's 1,000 gold. That can be the difference between you buying Demolisher or you getting Imperator, whatever. You might be able to finish a key item because that's a lot of gold, and that will get you back into the game. The point is that if you are surrendering or AFKing or rage quitting when there are large bounties on the enemy team that are unclaimed, you are a massive piece of shit and a waste of time. The 2 brain cells that you have in your head work overtime just to keep you breathing, so there's no room left for your gameplay, unfortunately. If you are somebody that does this, you need to stop right away. Nobody respects you, nobody likes you. I wish you would just uninstall the game if you're going to AFK. When there are clear ways to get back in the game, you just are refusing to see it, or you just don't want to try. Now, my personal favorite, death streaking. If you're dying a lot, don't AFK, don't quit, because there's value in you not having value. Okay? If you're 0 and 6, you're worth 100 gold. At that point, there are new doors that open up for you that you can't really play that way if you're ahead, right? If you have a bounty, if you're death streaking, you can kind of int or take risks for things like turrets. You can go contest objectives, right? A little bit easier. You can die for waves, right? Just die for pressure, right? It doesn't really matter because you're not worth anything. Now, I will say if you're 0 and 6, you want to try to actually not get kills, because you will reset your bounty and you're still going to be weak even if you get a kill. So chances are you're probably going to die again. And the second you get a kill, you reset that whole thing. You have to die 6 more times before you're worth 100 gold. So that's not worth it. On the flip side of that, people that are flashing, using all kinds of resources for somebody that's 0 and 6, I want you to think about this. Would you flash for a cannon minion and ult it? Probably not. So you probably shouldn't do that. Now, the only caveat to that is if you flash and kill that person, if it leads to prime or primal, then that's worth. But if it's just a standalone kill and you're committing all those resources for somebody that's 0 and 6, you're kind of griefing. You shouldn't be using those things for such little value, okay? So we kind of talked about how you can play from behind when you're death streaking. Now, it's important also to realize how to play from ahead. Now, when you are ahead, you actually probably do want to take less risks, right? Like especially if you're like an ADC or somebody squishy, glass cannon. You want to take less risks. You don't want to be wandering around solo. You don't want to push up by yourself. Um, you kind of want to watch fights and kind of watch for key abilities that have been used. The point is that you want to try to hang on for your bounty as long as possible, or you can try to give that bounty hopefully in a fight or in a dive or something like that, or some play that you go for. If you're gonna die, hopefully you can try to give it to somebody that doesn't have as much of an impact on the match, like a tank on the enemy team or a support. Okay, next thing that we're gonna be talking about is CSing or farming. Um, a normal wave is worth 110 gold. A cannon wave starting out, I believe, is around 170 gold. So if you look at base kills are 270 gold. You can see right there, um, if you get like a cannon wave and a regular wave, so two waves with a cannon in it, it's comparable to a kill, or two normal waves is a little bit less than a kill, right? You're looking at 220 gold, so about 50 gold less than a kill. So I hope that that puts that into perspective for people. Farming is very important. I see a lot of people kind of neglecting that. And if you're not good at it, you can go to ameta.city and look up your stats. You can look up your average CS. I would say if your average CS is below 7, you really should focus on improving that and trying to maximize your time. Remember, in MOBAs, really what wins you games is not necessarily objectives, it's not kills. At the root of it, it is time spent gaining the most amount of gold and experience, right? So if you utilize your time very, very well and get the maximum amount of gold and experience that you can get in that time, chances are you're going to win more than other people. So once again, keep that in mind. 110 gold for a basic wave, 170 gold starting out, I believe, for a cannon wave, which comes every 3 waves. Now, when it comes to farming, when it comes to laning, there's an important kind of macro thing there that I want to make clear. If you have a laner that's rotating all the time, if he rotates, you either have to rotate with him, which means that you might miss minions, so that's not good, but you either rotate with him the second he rotates or don't rotate at all. It is very, very triggering to see somebody rotate over to my lane and then kill me or get me to flash or whatever, and then my laner a few minutes later rotates and is in that lane, in my lane now. Don't do that. You're fucking me and you're fucking yourself, okay? When your laner rotates to go get a kill, you should hard shove your wave in, right? You should punish them for that rotation. Hard shove that wave in, make them miss as many minions as possible, get some damage on the turret. Ultimately, if you start getting that T1 turret low, if you start doing a lot of damage to it, your laner is going to hesitate to even rotate at all because they know that they're going to lose their turret the second they rotate. So you keep them kind of glued to that lane. If you let them rotate willy nilly and you're not applying any pressure while they're rotating, you are fucking up. You are creating a problem. Let's talk about buffs. Uh, red buff, blue buff, worth 110 gold. Okay. River buffs worth 30 gold. They give some experience and they give mana back. So they're important for mid lane, but they're never worth dying for, so don't do that. The first gold buff in dual lane starts off at 80 gold and it scales all the way up to 170 gold. Once again, no matter what point in the game it is never worth dying for that buff, okay? And early game, it's not even worth taking that buff over the waves. It's something that you can do if you can't farm or if you can't get to the wave. But other than that, don't fret it. Don't worry about it, okay? It's just like a little bit of icing on the cake. And the cyan buff, I think you can make an argument about going for it over the wave just because it gives a good amount of experience, but it's 55 gold flat. It starts off at 80 experience and it scales up to 320 experience. Um, so, yeah, I don't think any of these buffs are worth dying for. Don't do it. If you can't contest a buff, if somebody's stealing some from you and you can't contest it, just give it up. If you One of my biggest pet peeves is turrets, okay? I don't think people realize how valuable turrets are. So let's dissect this a little bit. A T1 turret is worth 800 gold for your team. Almost 3 kills, okay? It's 400 local gold for you if you are nearby the turret when it dies. And it is 400 global gold for your teammates, so 100 for each one of them. If you are not near the turret when it goes down, after you've been hitting it, you will not get that local gold, so it is important to be nearby when that turret goes down. The T2 turrets are worth 900 gold, or around that much, for your team. So it's very important to go for these things. Last but not least, big buffs. We have Raptor coming in at 500 gold for your team. We have Mini Prime at 1,000 gold for your team. Then we have Primal and we have Prime. These are worth 1,500 gold for your team. Those Primal and Prime is the single most amount of gold that you can make off of one thing in the map. So it's always worth trying to steal or die for them, whatever the case may be, as long as they can't end the game off you guys dying. When it comes to Mini Prime and Fangtooth, the normal ones, I would not die for these if you can make trades on the other side of the map. So often I see people just think that they have to contest Fangtooth all the time. You really don't. And this is losing you games, okay? You are capable. If you can't contest it, let's say your jungler dies and they go to Fangtooth. Well, now you don't have Smite. Now you probably will not get it, right? Even if you go contest, you probably will not get it because they have a Smite. So instead of going to contest that, why not make a trade on the other side of the map? Take a turret, which we now know is worth 800 gold, which is worth more than a raptor. Get some kills on the other side of the map, right? Maybe kill your offlaner, the enemy offlaner, and take the turret. Or go into his jungle and take his jungle on his blue side. Whatever the case may be, make cross-map trades to stay even. If you go and die on that raptor when you had no business contesting it to begin with, the game becomes heavily imbalanced. And I see so many games that are just lost so quickly in the early game because people do stupid shit like that. So cut it out.